Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mortgage Coach. My name is Lytle, and I'll be hosting today's training, Introduction to Edge. What we're going to do today is we're going to create a total cost analysis for a purchase transaction. What I'll show you is how to be able to create a fixed rate product as well as, oops, pulled up in the wrong one, an FHA product. And what I'm going to do with this is to be able to show you how you would be able to create fee and product templates. So this is going through Edge and being able to create these fee templates. I'll show you how, as well as the product templates to default items such as mortgage insurance. And then we'll be able to review the report. So again, this is an introduction to Edge. The way we're going to use GoToMeeting is in the chat box. I have placed links to our various items. So you'll see the Edge link in there, as well as the RateWatch download, RateWatch online. I also placed in there the links for you to go directly to either the iOS or the Android Play Store to download the Mortgage Coach app. So all that's in the chat area. And what I would like you to do is take the time and open up your question box in GoToMeeting. Have that handy and just ask any questions that you have as we go through screen to screen. And Alex, right now you're the only one on the call, so please, it's almost like a one-on-one. So please reach out to me and ask any kind of questions that you may have in Edge so I can address those for you. So now what we want to do is log into Edge, which is edge.mortgagecoach.com. You would want to? Oh, cool, Alex, great. So what I have, go ahead and place your email address in there. And if you have not logged into Edge, your password would be pass123, and then the system's going to prompt you for a new password. So once you're logged into Edge, I'm going to create a report. I would like you to create the report with me. If not, at least walk through the screens with me and get familiar with just touching all the areas in Edge and get more familiar with it. At the end, what you could do is go ahead and send us the link and we could review it for you and make any kind of suggestions that we see. So that's where we're going to go, Alex. First I want to do is in the upper section here, that's your client-facing report. So that's the total cost analysis as well as the rent versus own. So those are items you want to either send to your clients, your borrowers, or possibly create marketing ones and send them to your partner. Show them what you could do, a realtor partner, that you could provide this type of service to both your mutual clients. Below here is our partner section, which is the open house flyer as well as the seller buy down. With that, you'll be able to reach out to new partners or existing partners of yours and be able to build a relationship in showing them an open house flyer with financial options. Always with that, we like to also send a TCA to show what the borrower would be receiving. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive in creating a total cost analysis. The functions we're using here is in the total cost analysis, creating that product template and fee templates. You can use the same structure in these partner flyers. So what we're doing is doing a training, but it does encompass all the reports. So what we want to do is we're going to press on New Client to start a report. If we're working on an open house flyer, we would start on New Partner. After we're done, I'm going to go ahead and show you settings where you'd be able to update your image as well as your logo and be able to confirm your contact settings. And then we're going to review help. And this help button will take you to a web page that is our knowledge base, which has many video tutorials. So we'll end our call with that screen. So now let's go ahead and click on. Okay, yeah, perfect. I like it, Alex, asking questions. Okay, client goals. What this is you want to make a goal on how many reports you want to create. So I've created 42 reports in this count so far. But if I edit, I can make my desired goals. So say I want to be able to create 50 reports. I could go ahead and do that, and I'm almost reaching my goal. So that's what you'd be able to do and seeing how it is. I think it's just a global, it's not a monthly goal, but that's actually a good idea, and I might, after the call, I'll write that up as a suggestion, and at least on here, if it is monthly, I could go ahead and do it. But right now, I just think it's a global goal. Good question, though. And since you're asking so many questions, remind me at the end, I'll show you View All. And this is where you can see all your reports. And this is how you can do copies. So you have all that there. Usually we deal with this more in details on our Thursday class where we really go into details about Edge. We accept all kinds of questions from our members, and we show how to be able to do whatever those questions are within Edge. So now let's go ahead and click on New Client, get started. And with New Client, what we could do is start this process off. And if this is, Alex, is this your first time in Edge, or have you gone in here and created a report? You can let me know. Oh, perfect. This perfect class for you, Alex. Okay, so the first 4 screens here are just data collection screens. So the Edge was designed to be able to take information over the phone. So there's a lot of fields you can leave empty, and I'm going to point that out to you. And as you start understanding and working in Edge, you'll be able to build out these fields more and more, and you'll realize how much data you really can capture and keep in Edge. So first off, we have these 2 buttons, Individual and Marketing. Individual will provide you first, middle, and last name. Marketing is just report headline. So that's the only difference with the 2 toggles here. I'm going to switch it back to Individual, and let's go ahead and key in a name to the borrower. So I'm just going to use Mark Smith. And to show you the only necessary fields in here, you would have to put these 2, and technically you're done. But if you have their phone number, go ahead and put it in here. It's not necessary, as I said, but make a complete file, and you have that information. Rent, does he or she rent or own? This is the control for your 2 style reports. You could do a total cost analysis under own, and you do the rent versus own under rent. With one record here, you can generate both reports. Each has its own link. So if you create a total cost analysis, you have a first-time home buyer, want to really be able to see the advantages of owning versus renting, go ahead and switch it off to rent. There'll be an additional screen for capturing the rent, that's all. And then you would get a new link for the rent versus own, and you can send them both, the rent versus own, as well as that total cost analysis. So next we have your referral if you want to capture that. And what the partner email address is we have email alerts. So let me go ahead and put in an email address here. Whoops. There we go. What a partner email address is when you're in Edge. Wrong thing I pulled. Just one moment. My email. We have an email alert, and what that email alert will do is provide you information on, and I can't seem to find mine, I apologize that. What it will do is provide you an email. As soon as that report is closed, you're going to receive an email letting you know how long the report's viewed, who it was for your client, and at that point, it also provides you the link to the report. You're able to reach out to the client and answer any questions. So if you're working with a partner and you got the permission from the borrower to go ahead and share that report, put the partner's email address here. If you have an assistant or a processor you want to keep in the loop, put their email address in. No, actually, client prospect, the only difference is for your own knowledge. Is, coming into a file, you'd be able to see if they're already an existing client versus this is a prospect. So this is just for your own purpose and doesn't do anything with the loan file. But again, if you think about it, it's a conversation piece. Next, we have friendly name field, and what that is for a reference. And when you start building these out, you can use reports, copy one to another. You can copy it into a new client or copy it into existing. And this friendly name field will let you know what type of report it is. So if I put in the word purchase here, I know this is my purchase report for Mark. Say I've done multiple business with Mark and maybe he has an investment property. That's what I would want to place here. And then if I'm doing an open house flyer, great way of identifying which report for that partner, put the street address here. It's a great way of a quick identifier. Next, we have a notes section, and you can place any type of notes in this area. And what this is doing is as soon as I advance my screen, those notes carry with me. You can add notes at any time, and as you fill this up, you will have a scroll bar and it'll let you continue. So this is just for you to be able to capture your notes. Goals, again, this is a conversational screen. The only field you have to fill out is if you're doing a purchase. So you would want to mark this, and what that does is exclude the current mortgage from your screens here. The other items are for refinances, and it's to capture that their goals. What are their goals? So then when you're in Edge, you'll have a reference to be able to go back to be able to design the type of products you want to show as loan options. And then I have arrows pointing to the left and right in my middle of the screen. Besides advancing the screen, that is what's saving your data. Anytime you key in data, and if you click out, you're not saving the data. Always remember, move left to right or just advance to another screen. Just don't exit out of that particular screen without moving left or right to save that data. So now going through, I want to put in my purchase price of $250,000. And the other fields are for refinances. And when we cover refinance, we'll be able to go into those a little bit more. But I also wanted to show you, if I left this field empty and it's a field in red, take a look at the base of the screen and the ribbon. There's an exclamation mark. And with that exclamation mark, all it's telling you is, hey, you have a field in red and it's empty. So you just want to go back, fill out that information. And I want to bring it to your attention because if you're doing a VA product with a zero down payment, the system's going to give you an exclamation mark because it wants to make sure that you know the down payment was left at zero. So that's what that exclamation mark means. Moving to our next screen, affordability, you'll see that there is no items in red. So technically you could just bypass the screen if you just want to create a report. But if you want to build a report with all the information, what we could do is let me go ahead and fill this information out. So I'm placing in the gross income of $95,000. I'm keying in a monthly debt of $500. And credit status, it's a drop down. We do not order credit. It's just, again, part of that conversation piece that you're gathering that data. So the $95,000 and the $500 is going to provide you your debt to income ratio. So you'll be able to get that information already calculated and be able to view it over here without running type of credit. We also have a savings balance and savings interest rate. I'm going to go ahead and put in $50,000. And it's a nominal interest rate because it is a savings account. So with these two fields in the analysis screen, I'll show you how it will carry over. And this is a good way of checking to see if they have enough cash to close. Another way to see where their financial status may be. Tax bracket. Tax bracket is for if you want to show the tax benefit on the report. If you want to do it, go ahead and put in a tax bracket. If you're not quite sure of the tax bracket, we do have a button here, Find Tax Bracket. It just takes you to a new web page and you can go ahead and go through this process and find out their tax bracket. We also have MCC credit loans that you would be able to do in Edge. You can compare one with and one without to really show the advantage of that MCC tax credit. Moving on to the right, affordability. It's just capturing the information from your conversation. I'm actually going to leave this screen empty and just move on to my products. So you can see how you could go through all four screens. It's very quick and easy. And then once you start building out your product templates and fee templates, you'll just realize I've been able to create product and fee templates where you're only entering the interest rate, maybe a couple items like owner's title, lender's title, and that's it. So you're coming in, pumping in all this, and you're really ready to go. So let me show you how that's done. It's not a refi, so I'm answering no. If I answered yes, just these items in red, the labels change a little bit because it's not a purchase price. So that's what that's doing. And it also controls the label on the report for cash to close or cash out. So next I want to show you the product templates. I do have a few already created in my drop-down. I'm not going to pull those because I want to show you how to create one. So we're starting from scratch with our $250,000 purchase price. Now you can enter the down payment as a dollar amount or press the percentage key and then place in the down payment amount. And the one thing I didn't mention is we need to change our product label. So I'm going to build an FHA product here. So I'm just putting in my label, FHA 3.5% down. And you'll see I'm hovering my mouse over that field. You need to keep the label to 12 characters. So if you keep it longer and you have 4 products, the display is going to skew and throw reports off the page. So make sure you keep that as 12. Now I have my down payment. I also want to mark it yes for FHA. What this is doing in our fee screen is bringing out the field for upfront MI. So if you need VA funding fee, you need to mark that yes. If you're doing borrower paid MI, you would want to mark that yes because you need that field, and that's the trigger for it. It has nothing else to do with the FHA or VA type. Interest rate, let's put in 4 1/4 and our term of 360. So now we have all this screen filled out. The yes will be defaulted, the 3 1/2 will be defaulted, and the 360. So once you pull that FHA, all you're going to have to do is put in your interest rate and you're done. I wanted to point you out to the upper right-hand corner. As I advance the screen, now we're starting to fill out data. Right now we do not have any monthly costs or escrows, so this is just straight P&I. As we go into the monthly cost screen, this will increase. You'll notice below we do have the debt to income ratio here as well as the loan to value. So you have that information as well. So that's what in that affordability screen, when we enter that gross amount and their debt and such, this is where that carries through. So now there's a couple ways to key in fees. We notice that these are all open areas. You can always do it as a lump sum, just estimating your $1,500 if you're at pre-GFE level. But we also have a way to itemize, and that's what I'm really going to focus on today. I want to go ahead and place my prepaid interest. I'm estimating 15 days. You would want to check with your company if it's 15 or 30. And then the other item before we go into the closing cost details is I want to place in my 1.75 for my upfront MI. So with our template, this will be defaulted with the 1.75 and add it to MI to the loan amount. So now let's go to the closing cost details, and let me show you how to create a fee template. So with the fee template, you will be able to, as you build them, be able to go ahead and see them in the list. I'm going to start this particular product from scratch. Our second product, I'll show you how you'll be able to use it then, your first template, and start building out multiple templates by pulling them down and then resaving them as a template down here. So to start off, just go ahead and let's click Add Fee a couple times. What is a good way of developing a fee template? And Alex, are you on an enterprise account that has fee templates already built in, or are you having to build them from scratch? If you could let me know. Oh, perfect. So that's what I'm going to show you. The best way to create a fee template is to go into your LOS system, pull a fee cost sheet, because that has your labels of the fees, the dollar amount, and the majority of the time you'll have your, if it's an APR fee or not. So that's what you want to be able to have to guide you to create the fee template. So what I'm going to show you is how to create an APR fee, a non-APR fee, a custom fee, as well as a contribution, because all those 4 pieces will help you build a fee template. So as I add fee, I went ahead and did it twice just to bring down some line items. You'll notice if you click on the down arrow, we already have fee descriptions in here. So say if I wanted a processing fee, I type the letter P, choose processing fee, and then place that dollar amount in here. I also want to make sure I mark it as an APR because processing fee is an APR fee. So now I just finished my APR, how to key in an APR. An enterprise account, Alex, is if it's a site license. It's companies build out a site license where all the LOs are all on one account, and they actually pay for the account. They might disperse it out to to the LO at a different time, or just absorb the cost. So yeah, and if your company's interested, please let us know and we can hold that conversation. Do you by chance also use Optimal Blue for a pricing engine? Perfect. We should really, if your company wants some more information on that, we are just finishing an interface, and it will carry over 4 products. So when you come in here, a lot of this will be filled out. So if that's something you want more information in, just let us know, and we can, I can connect you with that. So it's actually really nice. I've been testing Optimal Blue, and it's a really slick program. So now let's go ahead and create a non-APR fee. And to do that, let's go ahead and choose appraisal. So I type the letter A, and let's find the appraisal fee. So I'm choosing appraisal fee, and I'm placing in that dollar amount and leave it as a non-APR. So there we go, yes and no. And now what we want to do, say you can't find your fee description and you want to keep consistent with your fees. So you can go ahead and do add custom fee. So in this fee name, I'm just going to put in test. Actually, I'll do custom fee. And with this, as you're building out, if you use these percentage fields, and I'll talk about that once I get back out of this screen, you can have that percentage on the loan amount or the property value, which is also your sales price. So we do have a way for you to be able to create a custom label and determine which you want that percentage to base off of. You want to be able to also market an APR fee if it's an APR fee. And prepaid default, we have a new way to do our escrow, so you don't have to place escrow reserves in here. But if you have any kind of item such like earnest money, which would be a custom field, you want to make sure that you mark it as default, because as prepaid, because the reason for that, it's not a cost of loan. When we get into the report, I'll explain that a little bit more. But just to be able to explain what that prepaid, default prepaid box means. So I'm pressing OK. And now you'll notice at the base of my fee descriptions, I now start having my custom fee labels. So I can use this now on any future fee templates in my dropdown. So now to discuss the percentage field and the dollar amount. If you're working with maybe stamp taxes or any type of title, which might be a percentage of the loan, you can go ahead and put in a percentage like this, and maybe you want a padding. So you could also go ahead and put $25, so you would have the percentage plus a little bit padding. So that's how those two fields work in conjunction. And then next I want to be able to show you now a contribution. So with a contribution, I'm going to click Add Fee. In our drop-down, we have a custom field called contribution, and we have logic built around that. So let me show you how that works. I place the label as contribution, and what I find out that even if you don't have a contribution on the loan and it's a purchase, a lot of people just put this on there and put it as an empty, and it's a conversational piece to explain about possibly getting a seller credit. So just to let you know on that field, what other people use it for. Now with a contribution, you could always put it as a percentage maybe, or what you could do too is put it as a dollar amount, and you can key it in as a positive. You can also identify who is paying or picking up that cost, the lender, the seller, or broker. Any of these, with that, you have it all set. Now what I want to show you is maybe you don't want to use that word contribution, you want your own description. And doing so, if you create the custom field label for a contribution, there's no logic. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and type in lender credit. I'm going to press OK. So now I have my contribution, then I want to use my description. So with that, since there is no logic, I have to key it in as a negative number. And by doing so, I have to keep it attributed, the paid by, to the borrower to offset the borrower's fees. So that's how you use a customized contribution field versus the one Mortgage Coach has where you can use it as a positive and then identify it. And any of your fees, too, also could be identified as a lender or seller paid as well. So do you have any questions, Alex, on developing a fee template? I can address them now. Otherwise, I'm going to show you how to save a template. Oh, sounds good. Okay, so now once you've built out your template, you want to save it as a template. And even if you're just following along, you can always delete this template if it's not a complete one. So go ahead and go through the process, save as template. And I'm going to go ahead and just put this as FHA fees. And for my purposes, you don't need to do this. I'm putting in today's date. So this way you'll be able to see the fee template I created just today. If you originate in multiple states, you can identify the fee template under multiple states and start building out all the fee templates that way. So once I press OK, if you did put a state, you would always want to go ahead and place the state ID here, and it would only pull up any templates for that state and also any templates that have no state test in it at all. So you can see how I have my fee template saved right here, and then when we go into our fixed rate product, I'll be able to show you how to pull that down, modify it, and create a new template really quickly. So since my numbers are a little off, I want to go ahead and remove my contribution because I had quite a bit of numbers that were a little off here. So now let's apply it to the loan. You always, once you make any kind of changes in here, always apply it to the loan. Now you'll notice the fields are in gray, and with that, it means you can't edit. You always just need to go into the closing cost details and make any modifications. We also have a point field here, so you'll be able to use that and hover your mouse over for the dollar. And you can also use it as a negative point field as well, and it will show you that figure. You'll notice that the prepaid escrow reserves are 0, and that's because we didn't place them in our closing cost details. But now as we go to our monthly cost, I'll show you how you'll be able to set up those reserves. I'm going ahead and click on my percentages to open up my my factor fields here. If you want to place just a straight dollar amount, you could go ahead and do that. Maybe you would just want to quote $100. You could just place it that way. Or we're based in California. We provide an estimate of 0.35 for hazard and 1.25 for taxes. So now I have the dollar amounts already calculated for me, and this is going to be part of my default as well now. Moving on to the MI, what you want to do is, because with that FHA, we know what the MI factors is and we know what the term of that MI is. So here we want to put in 1.35%. You want to calculate MI on balance because this is what FHA and USDA loans, they have that declining balance MI. And the last thing you want to do is put in the MI cutoff month. So I'm going to place 360 in that field. This is telling me that I have MI for the life of the loan, 360 months. In the MI cutoff field, I'll explain in the conventional product how these two fields are related to each other. Now this is the new fields that we have recently added for our reserves. So if I want to collect 2 months of reserves and 4 months taxes, I could place those figures in here. And I also want to collect 12 months premium because I have a purchase transaction. So let me show you how this affects the fee area. So I'm going to go back a screen. You'll notice prepaid escrows now has a dollar amount in it. And if we click on our closing cost details, you'll have 3 line items now. It does have your reserves, your tax reserves, and your hazard insurance premium. And you'll notice that these are all marked prepaid escrow. Now I want to show you how the relationship is between the two screens. If I decided I wanted to remove my hazard insurance premium, I press the trash can, that removes a line item. I want to make sure I apply it to the loan, that's my save. Now going into my monthly cost, you'll notice that the collect 12 months premium is not marked. So you can see the relationship between the two. And if you ever need to change the dollar amounts, you just need to control that through the number of months as well as your factors. Let me go ahead and mark 12 months premium. And you'll notice too that as we create a new product, this is no longer P&I. This is going to include all our monthly costs as well. So now to create our second product, and you can create up to 4 product loan comparison. So add another product. And this one we're going to do just a conventional fixed rate. So let's put that as conventional, and I'm just going to put 5% down. The way I do my labels, I like to put my agency first, and then I put the down payment. If I was doing an ARM loan, I would just put like 7/1L if it was a LIBOR, maybe put the word ARM, and identify it that way. If you have a title to a product that your company refers to that's less than 12 characters, you can place that in there as well. So now, again, we have a mark no. I'm not doing an FHA, and I'm not doing borrower MI or borrower paid MI. So I'm leaving this as no. Let's key in our dollar amount, and the reason why you have to key it in again, on purchase transactions, we actually can let you also do loans at product comparisons at different loan amounts or different down payments. So that's another thing to be able to provide your borrower. So I'm going to keep it at $250. Let's put in 5% as our down payment, 4.5 as our rate, and our term at 360. So once you key in that information, again, the 5% would be defaulted as well as your term. So you would come in here and just place your interest rate. Again, look at the upper right. As soon as you advance the screen, you're now going to see that second product. So let's place the per diem interest in there as 15 days. And if you had upfront MI marks, you'll see how that yes and no switch for FHA, VA, how it controls that field. So now let's go into our closing cost details, and let's pull in the template we just created. So I'm taking the fee template we just created. It populates down. Now say our appraisal fee for conventional is actually $475. You might have different fees. You might want to delete some fees by clicking on the delete button, and you might want to add additional fees as well. So you could go ahead at this point and develop that fee template out. And anytime you do a new loan product and want to, you're modifying these fields, if you know you're going to do that loan product again, just make sure you save it as a template. So I just added underwriting fee just to be able to add something in there, and I'm going to put that as $495, and I'm marking it as APR. So with that, that's how you can go ahead and modify the fee templates, and then you just want to make sure you save it again. So I'm saving it, a template as, conventional fees, and again, for my purposes only, I'm placing in that date. There we go. And then I'm pressing OK. So you'll see in your drop-down we have both the FHA and the conventional templates created for you. So when we're done, I'll go into the settings where you can actually see these fee templates, and we have a copy button, so that's another way you can build out those fee templates. So now let's click on Apply to Loan, and we're going to advance the screen to our monthly costs. Open up those factor fields. I'm placing in my 0.35, 1.25 for taxes, and in the mortgage insurance you would have to find what the premium you're going to use. I'm just using 0.67 for now. And I'm going to leave the box unmarked how am I unbalanced, because this on conventional loans they do not have that declining balance. So now how do these two fields work, the MI cutoff percentage as well as the MI cutoff month? So we saw in the FHA product where we placed 360 in here. On some conventional products, you might look at your policy, and they're stating that you have a minimum of 2 years the client has to carry MI. So I would place that 24 months in this field, and how these work in conjunction is on the 25th month, the system starts looking at that MI cutoff field. So once it has reached 78%, the MI will be dropped from your loan, and the first time it starts checking that LTV is on the 25th month. If you left this empty, the system will automatically look for the 78 LTV percentage and then drop it from the loan. So I'm going to go ahead and place that 24 months in here. And you'll see the LTV percentage right now, right here. So we're actually, it would be carried a lot longer than that 24-month period. So now let's place in our hazards. I'm putting 2 months hazard reserves, 4 months taxes, and I'm collecting 12 months premium. So at this point, I want to save it as a template. And I didn't do this on my FHA, so we'll go back and do that shortly. So when you save it as a template, I'm, again, just putting in today's date. And now I have this as a template in my drop-down. So let me show you how you can maneuver since I didn't save the FHA template. So just take a look at this. You can always hover your mouse over the tab at the base, and you can see what screens are available. So I want to go to my FHA product, and I'm advancing twice, and I want to save this as a template. So let's go ahead and do that. And now I have my FHA saved as a template. So now as I'm advancing the screen, I can see my conventional product here all filled out. So if you had additional products you want to show, you would just do the same process over. So now moving on to our analysis screen. And again, it took a lot longer, but as you build those product templates, you wouldn't spend that much time in each product field. So the analysis screen is where you customize the report. You would want to find out the property appreciation rate in your area, or you can leave this as 0. On the report, I'll show you where this comes into effect. Short term is in months, and that's the lower left-hand corner here. And this is actually the savings of the unrecoverable costs, your interest, mortgage, insurance, and your fees. So on the report, I'm going to dive into this more detail and explain exactly what it is comprised of. Long term, we ask that in years, and for that we can show total interest and MI paid. We can compare net worth, or we can compare the total principal paid. So you have multiple options. I always like to start with total interest and MI. So I'm leaving it here. And I'm just going to show you a quick peek of our reinvestment strategy. You really want to get into this one. It's actually fun to play with. Up at the top here, you'll see a red and green. You're saving $140 a month over that FHA product. Perfect. I'll go back and do that VA product, and I'm glad you asked because I'll show you a quick way of creating them. So with the conventional product here, I want to reinvest that savings amount. And by doing that, I can show if they qualify for the high payment, and this is just, for multiple loans, not just FHA and VA. So if you're doing a fixed versus an ARM, ARM has a lower payment. If you would just want to be able to show them equal apple to apples in payments, that they're applying the same, you place that amount in here, and then you'll notice that the freedom point has dropped to 24.25 years. So you're showing them how that your client will be able to pay off the loan faster if that's one of their goals. Another thing in that field, because I'm really giving you a lot of information this time, Alex, you could do a double click on that field. MI cutoff month, you can reinvest that MI. So the last month of MI was 81. So you could come in here. We have our 1 month, we're applying 140. So if I press add a button, say on month 82, I want to add the 132 to the 140, 172.6. And then what that is doing, whoops, not the right amount, 2. You can tell I can't add at the top of my head, huh? So we have that amount. So when you place it in there at the 82nd month now, you've increased it because now they've been making that payment. Let's keep making that payment. So I'm pressing OK. And now look at the freedom points drop down to 22 years. You're making that same payment as the FHA loan, but yet you have 8 years already dropped from the loan. So just wanted to show you that. There's also more features here. I'll show you the video tutorial. You can also apply 1 month lump sum payments as well. You also have the option to be able to place it into the savings account, that savings, and then you'll see the 50,000 we had keyed in, and you can see the cash to close, and they have plenty of money to be able to close that loan. So this is a good double check on their financial status. And you can also place that information, any additional savings, and invest in an investment account with a higher interest rate to show them, the savings you have and how much you accrue at the end of a 15-year period. The video tutorial will walk you through that in much more detail, so please check that out. And we also cover that on our Thursday trainings. So what I'm going to do is back up one, and let's do that VA product. I'm going to add another product, and let's do our VA. So let's do it VA, 0, down. And I know there's a lot of VAs, I've been sending them up lately. I've actually created templates based on first-time use and subsequent uses, active and reserve. So there's multiple templates depending on what you want to use, and that way it's going to control your VA funding fee, and you don't have to key that in each time. So really, again, depends on how much you want to build these out. Now I want to go and mark yes for VA, so I can get that VA funding field. And let's go ahead and put in our loan amount of $250,000. And now we're going to leave the down payment at 0. So we're going to now get an exclamation mark down here. So it's a good example to see how it applies to the products as well. So let's put in 4.25 and 360 as our term. I'm advancing the screen. Let's put in our prepaid interest days. And Alex, is it 2.125? What is the VA funding fee? You can tell I don't do these loans, but I do create the products. So you replace whatever, not even close, huh? 2.15, there we go. So you can see how it calculates that amount, and you can add it to the loan amount. And again, this could be part of your default for that VA product template. So now let's go into our closing cost details. Go up to the fee screen. My fees are closest to an FHA product, so I've pulled it down. Then you can modify accordingly and then save it as a VA template as well. Okay. Unless you need me to go through these fee screens a little more, I'm just going to go ahead and apply the loan and move on. Okay, so now we have our fee structure created, and then we also want to place in our reserves. And I actually wanted to show you one other item, Alex. And we have no MI, and we're going to place 2, 4, how about 4? And then click 12 months. So I also want one more thing, and I'm going to show you like a cost to wait kind of way, but it's using a copy from button. So if I add another product, I'm just going to say cost to wait, and the only difference with this, a lot of times people, they only want a fixed rate loan. You need to compare it with something. So we do a cost of wait, which says, hey, this is your product, but the one it's comparing with is with an interest rate increase. So you can educate them on how much they would lose if they wait and the rates increase. So let's go ahead and what I'm going to do is use this copy from button. I don't want to do all that work, create all those templates. So if I press copy from, now you see all your products. So I will just want to do the cost of weight comparing against my conventional. So I'm choosing that product, pressing OK. You'll see that all my data carried over. Now what I want to do is I'm bumping it just 1%, and that's it. That's the only difference I'm doing on this particular product. So with that, I just created it. You'll see all the fees carried over because it's the same product. I'm not touching these. It's just the interest rate increase. And now my monthly cost carried over. So that's another way of getting you through really fast within the product templates. The one item I didn't cover on the analysis is our benchmarks. And what we do is we always compare against the highest default, the highest payment. We also don't put a graph on the highest payment. And you'll notice the cost of wait because that interest rate, it's even beating out by $4 over the FHA, and that has MI. So that tells you the difference between such a highest interest rate. But say you want to compare it against the 5% product. Now that is my payment I want to compare against. And you can see that the FHA and the cost of wait is a higher payment, but you're still saving on that VA product. So that's how you use those benchmarks there. And when you're doing a refi, you definitely want to be able to mark it as current mortgage. You always want to compare against the current mortgage, which will be in the first position. Okay, next screen is just our contact information. We're asking for an email address, phone and cell phone number, fax. We do not email anything directly out. So again, this is your contact data field. If you have a co-borrower, you can place their first and last name here. And sometimes with privacy, maybe you don't want to put that last name. So it's up to you if you want to put it. You can always just address it just by first names. Same with property address. You can always put a street address here. Again, due to privacy, you might want to leave it empty, but what you can always do is put a label in here. A great time to purchase a new home. Then we have a city field, so we're located in Irvine, so I'm just saying Irvine, California. And I'm just leaving it at that. So you can either fill up the full address, or you can just put out city and state where those people are looking at to purchase a home. Advancing to our next screen, this is our presentation screen. A lot of times if you email us at support, we'll ask you to go select presentation. Quick way of doing it is hover your mouse over presentation and click on select report, and that brings you into the screen. Total cost, that's what we're creating. You can also do a seller buy down. If you need to check out an amortization schedule, we have the option to do so. And now you have your four products for comparison. Because I don't really want to show this product, I'm excluding it from the report by unmarking it. This is another way too, if they want to only see two particular products, but you know there's a good product that you want to show them. Build up that product and exclude it from the report. And then when you start discussing the report and using Edge Live, you can then go back and add it. While the consumer is looking, they're going to get that update because our link is interactive. So we'll review that a little bit when we're at the end. And now we're coming to our payment notes. Our payment notes is you put something like estimated taxes and insurance are included in your payment. And if you didn't quote taxes, you would want to say are not. Either or, you need to put something here. It's a compliance piece that connects to that payment. I'll show you on the report how that works. These next three screens are just reviewing the presentation screen, those graphs and stuff. So now we're at our presentation and the very last screen of our preview. You'll notice also we have that exclamation mark because we have zero down payment here. You can save the report as a PDF as well as a print, or you can email the link, and this is the preferable option because this is the live interactive you can use with your client. You can also do a print and save through that link, so this is always the best way to go and send the link to the client, not a hard copy. This is triggering your email alerts, so you get it as soon as your client closes the report. And if you put in the partners one, you'll be able to mark it here. If you didn't put in that partner's email address in the first screen of clients, you'll not see this line item here. So now let's place a quote date. I'm putting today's date. And now let's take a look at our report by pressing preview. So with that now, you don't see that fourth product anymore because I excluded it from the report. So now how do you really read this report? So you can see up here we have our information. We have our label about what it takes, great time to purchase a new home, and the city and state. We'll go through the settings where you can upload your image and make sure your contact information is correct, as well as uploading your logo, and your branch is also in the settings. So here's the quote date, and what we usually do is go from upper left-hand quadrant, which is our summary and the details of each product. Then we refer to the monthly payment savings to discuss that. We go down to the lower left-hand corner, discuss the recurring or the short-term costs, those unrecoverable costs, and then the long-term area where we're showing and talking about interest and the MI. So first let's talk about the summary section. On the report you can highlight specific fields, and you can see I'm taking my mouse, hovering over, and you can see the blue line surrounding that cell. Left click, and that's how you highlight. So before you send that link out, maybe the difference is your interest rates. You want to identify that. Maybe you have different loan amounts. So whatever you want them to be able to sort of look at, guide them to it. Some people always want to mark cash to close. You can do that. So that would be a good way of doing it. We also, when you're working on Edge Live, you can also click on the label at top. And what it will do is when you're talking about that product, it highlights that column for you. If you click on that label again, it will go ahead and unhighlight all those. And then at the very bottom, you have a clear all button. That clears out all your highlights at once. So when you're working with Edge Live, you will want to be able to do that. A great way of knowing if you did your MI correctly, check out your payment streams, especially on FHA loans. It should carry for the life of the loan, which this one does. And to show you the difference, take a look at the conventional product with MI. So you can see how it's, it doesn't carry for the life of the loan. That's a good check. When we get links coming through support, that's one of the first things I look at is that payment stream to make sure that FHA is done correctly. Now let's click on the More Info button and take a look at all the details behind those loan options. So you have your payment breakdown. You have your loan amount showing here, the P&I payment. If you did do a second lien, it would have the second lien's P&I. Then you have all your monthly costs labeled out here. We'll provide the total pity. If you provided that reduction payment, it will be shown here. And if you did an investment account investment in that reinvestment, it will display here for a total payment. Next, let's check out our closing costs. Here's where you found your down payment or your equity if you're doing a refi, your LTV. You'll see that it resembles here your fee screen. You're able to see the upfront MIP. And then if you click on that detail button, you're going to see the list of your line items of fees as well as the total at the base. Reinvestment strategy, I always like to highlight that field. You'll be able to click on it and see what you did. And again, you can hold this conversation when you do Edge Live with them, which I'll be showing you just shortly. So once you've done that, I'm going to close out of that screen. Now let's talk about the monthly payment. Remember, I have no graph on the highest payment. And when I click on More Info, it just provides information about that monthly payment. If you had a second lien, it would also provide that information. You'll see that the percentage for your property appreciation and tax bracket display here. I'll show you in our next two short-term and long-term where those apply. So now let's discuss the short-term savings over 60 months. This 60 months can change, and when we use Edge Live, I'll show you how to do that. And you want to be able to hold a conversation on how long you're going to stay in that home. Is it roughly 5 years? Maybe they know, hey, 7 years we plan to leave, our kids are grown, we want to get out, move and get a warmer climate. So, you just hold that conversation. It's part of your process. You probably already do. And you'll be able to move this in Edge Live and really focus on their conversation. Then you notice I click on a graph that also highlights. So what do these two figures represent? Let's go into our More Info. And remember, this is unrecoverable costs. It's our interest, MI, if applicable, and it's our closing costs. Those are money we're not going to get back. Principal we're getting back toward equity, so we're not including that in these costs. So over that 60-month period, interest and MI for each product is calculated and displayed here. Then we have our closing points, our closing costs, and then we add it to, or add that to that figure to get the total cost. So this is the total unrecoverable cost. That's where we do our comparison and for the savings of a net savings. So that's the information here and be able to cover the unrecoverable cost area. Now lastly, let's check out that More Info behind the interest MI. This is where that home value comes into play, that appreciation percentage. Each year for 15 years, we increased the value of the home with that property appreciation rate. You also see the loan balance at the end of that term as well. So that's a nice thing to be able to point out, showing what is the best loan option for the client. And then we have the standard total principal, total pity, and total interest in MI during that period is also displayed. Lower right-hand corner, you have a Save button. You could save your loan, the report as a PDF, and your client can save it too. So that's why another reason you don't need to print off a copy and send it to them. You also notice right here with the print, I have a little bit too much in my screen, and you'll notice it's not showing my image. So that's a spacing issue. It's probably because I have my label here a little bit too long. So just give me a little idea when you see things like that. If you have product labels that are over 12 characters, you'll start seeing things push off just like that. So I want to bring your attention to that. Each page has the details behind the More Info button. So you'll have all the information that you have on the report. You could save it as a PDF as well as print it, and the consumer can do this just as well. So now let's go back to Edge, and let me show you how to generate a link to send to the client as well as record a video. So what you want to do is generate a link, and with this link, this is what you want to copy and paste and put in an email address. We do not directly send out this link to the client. You have to do it yourself through the copy and paste it in your email. So now let's check out how to add a video. So you really want to be able to add a video because you want to be able to introduce yourself. Sometimes you might have face-to-face. That's fine, but it's great to still introduce yourself to that client. And if you don't have face-to-face, it's a perfect way for them to be able to see you and again start building that trust. So in the lower left-hand corner, you have record message. And what this will do, and just to give you FYI, if you're in Google Chrome, they might be asking you to allow the camera. So that's a yes or no question up at the top. So what you want to do is press allow, and that's going to initiate your camera. Hi, Alex. What you want to do is be able to place in here your message. You can record about 5 minutes. You want to be able to have eye contact like I'm doing here. Introduce yourself, explain about the loan options. Don't really go into too much detail because you're going to be able to talk to them. And just provide a little bit of information and always do a call to action. And when they close out this report, they're going to view it. If they, compared to on a phone, say you talk to the husband but not the wife at the time, this is a great way of putting a consistent message out there for them. So they both see it, they both get to share it. Or if they share it to another party, they'll also be able to see your message. So to record, you have the record button, the play. You also have a pause, and this is how you stop. If you want to redo your video, you can go ahead and press that trash can here. It removes it from the report. If you don't have a video camera, what you can always do is record audio only, and I encourage you always put a message on here if it's audio or video. So that's how you work that feature. Now let's go back into Edge. We have this Edge Live button, and what that does, it's the same as the preview. So just so you know, there's one and the same. And with Edge Live, this is once you have spoken to your client, you want to talk to them now. So I'm clearing out all my highlights. Let me open a new tab, and I'm also going to place in the chat box, Alex, the link to this report. So if you click on it, you can really experience Edge Live. And what I'm going to do is click on or paste in my link. So this is, if they clicked on it, this is what would happen, and it will open a new tab. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to close out my question area for a moment, Alex. And I'm going to use 2 screens so we can work on Edge Live. So just 1 second. Oops, bring it over here. Oh. Sorry, I'm just not used to Mac. Okay, there we go. And let me share my screen and change it to dual screen. There we go. Okay, Alex, I'm hoping you can see my screens right now. And if not, let me know. You see your messages. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, this is the consumer's copy on the right-hand side. The left-hand side is your copy. What you could do is, they can't view the report until you press I understand. And what happens here is, look in the lower left-hand corner on your report. It says 1 viewer. That's because I've clicked on the report and it's facing on that right-hand screen. Let me just make sure that you didn't say you can't see. Okay, good. Okay, so now let's work on Edge Live. So I know I have the client on the phone and they're viewing the report because I have 1 viewer. If you had clicked on the link, and you don't need to, Alex, we would have had 2 here. So that gives you an idea how many people are actually viewing the report while you're talking to them. So now you want to start talking to them. And one of the ways of identifying which report, you'll notice yours has a clear all button and the consumer copy doesn't. They're unable to do any kind of highlighting on their report or change any data. So as you go through it, you know your conversation you want to hold with the consumer. Say you want to talk about the FHA product first. So I highlight that column and I start discussing that FHA product. I also want to discuss about their MI. You know, this carries MI for the life of the loan. You can have that discussion. You then can also go into the More Info button and start going into the details about their payment breakdown. You'll be able to show them all the different costs. You have monthly and mortgage insurance here and here, but not on that VA. So that's a conversation. You can see how both screens are interacting now, and everything you do and everywhere you go, it will also follow on the consumer's end. So that's why it's a very dynamic and it's very interactive. So that's one of the reasons you don't want to send a print copy, because anytime you make a change, you would have to send them a new copy. This is live and interactive. So any kind of change, maybe to the down payment or loan amount, their report automatically updates. So that's how you'll be able to walk through Edge Live and be able to hold the conversations. You can see how I'm just clicking on the graphs. You could go into the More Info and really dive into what those unrecoverable costs are. Also, you notice it's getting a little bit busy with all that highlighting. You can always clear all. So that way it cleans up the report and starts fresh. So now I'm going to move to Edge, and the reason why I want to do this is to really show you how you can use that Edge Live in modifying products or down payments. So say in our product, I want to change my down payment for a VA. I'm just going to go ahead and say they want to put 5% down. So once I do it, go ahead and watch this product over here. You'll notice that the loan, whoops, I can't click on it. You'll notice that the loan amount will change now as soon as we advance the screen. It's going to apply that 5% down. So again, Edge Live has been able to show you the difference, see I just adjusted, the differences in those changes. You can also, oh, it didn't take, oh, I put $5, no wonder, 5% here. So I have 12.5, now my new loan amount is $237. So you'll see over on that side, if I click on the loan amount, you'll be able to see that it will be updating shortly with that new loan amount. So you see how you can talk to them, make changes. You can also add a product to the report, how I told you, like the cost of weight. To trigger the update to the report, you always have to move left and right because that is what you want to do as your save trigger. So you can see how it just been added the fourth product, and same to the consumers. So I hope you understood all that, Alex. And we also have a great video tutorial explaining this a little bit further. So if I'll show you how to be able to access that. So now we're done with our report, Alex. So let's just go into our home screen. I want to go into settings and show you where to update your contact information here. You want to make sure that license number, make sure you have an identifier right here. And mine's grayed out because I'm on an account that has these fields blocked by the company itself. I also have confirm your branch address, and if you make any changes here, press save. If you have a web page where you want them to go, you'll notice on the report we have an Apply Now button. This is to trigger that button on your report. So you would put this web page in that area. So let me open up my chat just to make sure you don't have any questions. Cool. Okay, so then you have the images here. You want to go ahead and upload your image, your logo. This is where your fee templates are created. So if I wanted to take this and start copying, you have Save As, which triggers your copy button. So this is another way, if your fee updated, you want to make a change, this is where you make your change to your templates. As your product template, let me just review it real quick. You do want to just, it depends on what you want. I don't like having an interest rate in there because that's quite variable sometimes, so I remove that. 3% down, 5% down, I want to keep. My default of 1.75, all my reserves I want to keep. Now let's check out our monthly cost. Because it copied the data from my record, I do have this dollar amount in here, but when you apply these templates, it will be removed. But I do want to show you, you could just clear this out because I'm one of those people, I like seeing clear screens. So you would just go ahead and do that because what we did is save the full loan as your template. So now I clean that up. I'm going to press OK. And now I want to show you the two separate things. By saving that as a product template, we actually saved it with our fee templates included. So if you don't want to do that, you can always just delete these and leave the fee area empty, and then you could just use your drop-down. Even if you have something in here and you want to use a fee template, it will override what's in there. So that's really a great way. One click, pull down your product template, and you have everything. So that's how you modify, and you can create new templates in this area as well. Just real quick, in the fee area, there's button fees. If you ever needed to change those customized fees, this is where you do it. You would just pick it up, change the name. Maybe you had the wrong percentages. This is where you correct it. So now once we're done, we're completely done with Edge, let's take you over to Help. So in the Help button, it's going to take you to our knowledge base. And in our knowledge base, we have those video tutorials on just how to create individual reports. Down here is the reinvestment strategy. We have a search engine. You can search, say, MI, or I want to go look at that Edge Live video. Put in the word live, and it will show you anything that has information directly toward the word live. So that's another way of doing a search. I also want to point out how to read a TCA. We have YouTube videos as well as a direct download, because some companies can't view YouTube in their office. So we have both of that for you. We also, up here, we have our coaching call archive. Every Tuesday we have a coaching call. We go ahead, record it, and we place it in here in our archive. We also, today's class will go ahead and be posted here as well. If you haven't signed up for those coaching calls, you could do it here. And if you want to advance your Edge training, sign up for our Thursdays calls at 9 a.m. And we dive deeply into Edge more further than just what this call was. Now lastly, I want to leave you with our web page, because I want to show you a few examples that we have. Mortgagecoach.com is our web page. Let me see if I could go back here. This is our commercial for our competent decision. I want to see if they have that. No, they don't. Okay, I was saying if they have the Optimum Blue option there. So what I wanted to point out is the Community tab in the Edge Hall of Fame. This is what other members do, create a report, and we have them posted here. And all these have videos as well as audios connected with it. You know, they're different type of report styles, but I want to point out, Thomas had created a report, and it was more of a marketing report, and his title is FHA Right for the Simpsons? So if you want to see how someone else has used Edge more for a promo, it's a little bit funny. So you can see different ways you can use Edge. So with that, Alex, I am done with today's call. Do you have any questions for me at this point? Otherwise, we're going to do a wrap. I know it took a little longer than our normal hour. We're a little over, but I gave you a lot more details. Great. And if you have any questions on future reports, please email us at support. We'll be able to provide you that information. You want us to check out the report, please send us the link, and we'll go ahead and review it for you. Otherwise, thank you, Alex, for joining the call, and it will be recorded and posted on our webpage. Enjoy your day. Thank you.